Alright, back at it again with another Dolphin Computer Service video. Welcome back. I hope y'all had a good weekday. I hope y'all are doing fine. Lovely Friday we're having here so far. And let's get on with the subject of today's video, which is the network switch. We are continuing this trend. As several weeks ago, we talked about Wi-Fi repeaters and mesh systems. So now we're going to be talking about another important piece in the network puzzle is the network switch. So there's two types. There's something you may call a network hub, which is completely different from this and is actually never recommended. I never use a network hub. Then we have what we call here a network switch, which is the one I always use. They're very inexpensive. They're very easy to get. You can get them for as low as $12 here if you decide to go with this Tendra model. By the way, not sponsored or endorsed in any way, shape, or form. I'm just using what I consider and what I personally use and what I think is good. So the ones I normally use are either TP links, like the one you see here, or Netgears. Can't go wrong with either of them. I always recommend a fanless design, especially if it's for home use and it's going to be next to your computer all day long. There's a bunch of different styles, they make them in plastic and metal, but these are the ones I use, especially from TP-Link and from Netgear. So if you pick up any one of those, a bunch of places have them: Office Depot, Office Max, Best Buy, and Radio Shack. You believe it or not, there's still one kind of near here, and they still have it. So if you need to pick up one just on the fly, really quickly, don't have time to order it or wait, they're always available. So here we go. How does this work? Basically, is as I open this one up here, this one is, as you see here, it's labeled, and it's separate from the others. So you would plug in, and some of them are numbered, or they'll just tell you. The internet comes in through, let's say, port 5 here. So you plug in from an Ethernet cable from here to your modem or your router, and it'll convert the one into 4 separate ones. So in other words, your internet comes in on port number 5, and it is distributed in ports 4, 3, 2, and 1. A lot of them, like the previous one, like the one below here, they you can plug in any of them. So let's say you plug it in port 6. There's a little CPU on board that says, oh, port 6 is the internet coming in, so I will distribute the internet through the other 7 ports. This is the most common one you're going to see here is the unmanaged design, which basically means it's plug and play. It knows automatically what to do. It prioritizes the data by itself. So let's say in this 5 port design here, it's actually 4 because one of them has to be used for internet if you use it that way, which is what most of you people are going to use it for. So your internet comes in port 5, and then you have 4 extra ports. Whoops. So if you have, let's say you have a internet a VoIP, and what they call voice over internet protocol, telephone connected on one. You have a computer, just your regular, browse the web, watch some YouTube videos on number 2. You have a camera on port number 3, a internet camera for like security or whatnot. And on number 4, you have your video game console. So let's say all of them are being used at the same time. It will automatically determine what gets priority. So if there's a phone call going on, like let's say you're calling your boss, or you're calling your parents, or you're calling your significant other, it will automatically, but on port 4, you have, your buddy, your friend, your dad, or whoever plays, Xbox, PS5, and he's playing a hardcore game. And let's say, for the sake of simplicity, we're only using those 2 devices at the moment. It'll say, let's say there's too much information going on that, the system can really handle. So and believe it or not, that happens more often than you think. It even happens in wireless connections for your cell phone and for radios and all that, it's another topic for another day that I will cover eventually, but just to keep everything simple, we'll just use ports 1 and 4, which is our voice over internet phone and our gaming system PS5, which is port number 4. So let's say there's too much bandwidth and certain sacrifices have to be made. Well, for the unmanaged system, it will do it automatically. It'll say, okay, the phone, since this is a phone call, this is communication, it's technically a landline, so that we don't, and since it could be used for anything, it could be used just for calling your mom, or you're making a 911 call. So since it deems communication as important over the PS4, it'll give priority to the phone over the PS5. That's kind of a very simplistic overview. There's a lot more that goes to it. And we can cover that in other videos. Well, if you'd like, please leave a comment down below if you'd like to see that. So in the unmanaged, one more time, it does it automatically. The computer inside it will automatically do it for you. It even says here traffic optimization. So again, it's just basically kind of reaffirming that it is an unmanaged switch. You can get plastic bodies. There's metal bodies. The fanless one are my favorite, especially if they're going to be indoors. For these small ones, these 4 ports, they even, I think, make the big, 8 ports and 10 ports fanless. As you see here, fanless, 16 ports. I recommend fanless because if it's going to be inside all day, it's going to be next to your desk. It's going to maybe be in a closet where you have all your other computers and electronic devices that need to be hardwired. You don't want to hear a fan all day. It's one more thing that could break. So definitely, if you are going to be inside and even if you're outside, a fanless is always recommended. They do make outdoor ones, and if you're going to use it outdoors, definitely get a fanless one and rate it for outdoors. But again, the fanless, the metal case, don't really need it. It helps with heat dissipation. These things can get pretty hot, especially if you are using a lot of devices and each one is producing bandwidth all of the time. But yes, my 2 major priorities, well 3 actually, is get one that's, again, name brand, Netgear, TP-Link. You can't go wrong. You can get a Cisco as well. But again, the Netgears and TP-Links are the ones I use religiously because I just really like them. So 1 is name brand. 2 is fanless, especially for, in-home use, not a lot of heavy-duty usage, light duty stuff, light office, light business, home stuff. Only go with the fanned one if you really need it. Like, as you see here, we have, heavy duty ones for servers. These do get hot. They're producing wattage. They provide what they call power over Ethernet, which means instead of having, like for your camera example, instead of having to run a separate power cable for the security camera, you can run both data and electricity to power it through one cable. So fanless definitely for the home use. And the third one is, I like a metal body just because it feels nice. It helps with heat dissipation. But if, you're kind of maybe strapped for cash a little bit, or you just don't really care, you just need something right here and now, that's the only one available, a plastic body will do fine. But I always prefer the metal. The plastic will work better outdoors because, plastic doesn't rust, it kind of looks nicer. So that is another option as well. So we have unmanaged and managed. I just mentioned unmanaged already. It does it for you. The managed one offers a higher level of port prioritization or data prioritization. So let's say, but you have to do it yourself. So you have to set it up, it's more involved and you have to know what you're doing. We do offer this service as well, but for most people, the plug and play unmanaged is fine. So when do you need a managed one? So if you're like this guy over here, the 26 port one, you have a lot of things. You want to really make sure that the phone connected on port 3 is going to always have priority over maybe the regular desktop computer on port number 17. 2, they offer better security in terms of keeping the data, private and secure. Your home one is fine because there's nothing really much going on. But if you want to have that extra level of security, and the system on the chip, the CPU, is very good at doing it on the unmanaged one by itself. Technology has come a long way. But if you just need, that extra layer of security that, only you, that only you will get access to this data that's going through this device, then definitely the managed one is the way to go. Again, this one has PoE. Not all of them have power over Ethernet, but there are some that do. And that's basically it. As you see here, this one has fans as well. These do get noisy, but this one is a server mounted one where it'd be put in a server. And again, here we're talking about the management system here. You can set, priority for who gets what. You can, again, denial of service. You can tell it to block out certain IPs. You can tell it to block out certain computers. It's basically everything that the unmanaged can do, but you can manage it to the degree that you want it to be. Again, not sponsored or endorsed by any of these companies, but these are just my opinions on what I think you should get. We once again offer this service. So let's say if you have a bunch of computers that need connected but don't have the ports, we can come in, consult with you, set it up, and order everything you need. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you learned something, and hope to see you all in the next one.